All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Tuesday morning Inner Circle Live session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody is doing well today. So we're going to dive in, get straight to it. Want to have as much time to get through as many charts as possible this morning. So as always, let's turn off all distractions, prepare your minds and your bodies to engage as you guys always do. And for the courtesy of everybody on the call, please ensure that your mic is muted if you're not actively asking a question or making a comment. All right. So we're going to take a quick look at trading economics, quick look at Forex factor just to get us a view of the week. And then we will dive into the charts. Real quick, drop me a 1 in the chat if you can hear me okay and if you can see my trading economics screen. Cool deal. Appreciate you, Ebony. All right, so big thing on the docket yesterday. Reserve Bank of Australia raised cash rate by 25 basis points to 3.1% at its final meeting of 2022, matching market forecast. The move marked the 8th straight rate hike, taking borrowing costs to a level not seen since November of 2012, with the board flagging more rate hikes ahead as inflation in Australia is too high. Tuesday's widely expected decision takes the central bank's cumulative hikes since May to 3 percentage points, the sharpest annual tightening since 1989. The committee reiterated the policy rate was not a preset course, as the size and timing of future increases will continue to be determined by incoming data. Right? The board added inflation in Australia would peak around 8% this year before easing in 2023 and reaching a little above 3% in 2024. Policymakers reaffirmed their commitment to bringing inflation target levels, and will do what's necessary to achieve that. The RBA also increases interest rate on exchange settlement balances by 25 basis points. So they did what the market thought they were going to do. All right. They didn't go above, they didn't go below. So we'll take a look at those Aussie pairs to see where they sit and see what transpired yesterday. But that's what we expected, okay? That's what we expected. And they're saying that everything is going to be data dependent, right? So their stance is staying the same. So that's the big news from yesterday. You got oil hovering near 11-month low at $76 a barrel. In Germany, factory orders rise more than estimated. So you got some back and forth happening really around the world, right? Yeah, some data points that are coming in below and some data points that are coming in above expectations. So we will keep that in mind as we review the charts. Over to the calendar, right? We see this was yesterday, the Aussie cash rate. You had ISM services PMI for the United States came in above expectation, right? Gave another boost to the dollar. And as we move through the week, today we have GDP quarter over quarter for the Aussie. Tomorrow we got Bank of Canada rate statement. So we'll also take a look at some Canadian dollar pairs and crosses. You got crude oil inventories coming in at 10:30 tomorrow. Then Thursday, you got President Lagarde speaking, you got unemployment claims for the dollar. And then on Friday, you got the PPI data coming in for the United States, right? So you're gonna have a lot of eyes on this number to see how the dollar fares. All right. Shauna, good morning. So that's where we are from a fundamental perspective. Right, that's the outlook for the week. Any questions there? Nope. Okay, cool deal. We're gonna hop over to the charts. We'll take a look at the dollar, and then we'll hop into these Aussie pairs. Okay. maybe. There we go. All right, so the dollar from a 4-hour perspective, right? Last week we had this push down, okay? We had this push down closing the week, and we got a turnover, right? These fibs are running to the upside because the fib down got taken out, all right? So we got this turnover here, got a fresh AB boundary here on the 4-hour time frame, came back up to this daily resistance level, and we're starting to get a pullback now. Okay, so we'll see what happens. We could continue to stay in this range for a bit, right? So we'll watch to see what occurs. Okay, but this is where we sit on the dollar right now, starting to pull back. Had a nice push up yesterday, and then we got some consolidation. All right, so we'll look for the market to take back some of this move, and then we'll see what happens from there. Okay, so potentially sitting in a range for a bit on the dollar. Okay, so that's the quick look there. We're gonna hop over to these Aussie pairs and walk through them. All right, so in this Aussie CAD, on the daily time frame, okay, this is where we sit. This is where we sit. Sitting at an 8-6 retracement in line with the daily resistance level. Okay, yesterday you had this push down with the Aussie rate, and now we're getting a retracement. Right, as the market opens, we'll see how the market takes that information, but we're pulling back now nonetheless. So this is another scenario where if we stay below this level, we could stay in this range. Understand also that we got Canadian dollar, the Bank of Canada coming in with their interest rate tomorrow. Okay, so that's something we will keep our eyes on to see how the market responds to the Aussie data from yesterday and the Canadian data coming in tomorrow. Okay. As we move over to the 4, this is where we sit. Just these trend lines a little bit. Oops. On the 4-hour time frame, move this one. The market A is doing what we thought it would do, right? Push up to that daily level. We got that. If I can move the trend line, it would be straight. There we go. Trend line moving up. The reason I'm moving this trend line out is because we pushed back into this zone, right? So we're ranging, we're moving sideways. Okay, so I'm adjusting the trend line to the outermost point for that reason only. Okay, but here we have shallow retracement, less than that 382. We're hovering, right? We got into that 118, 127 zone with the wick there, and we're pushing back into the range. Okay, so if we stay below this daily level, look for this 80-20 scenario to play out. Okay, so we're watching this one closely. We want to see a nice clean trend line break and a break out of that range. Okay, but this is when we're watching. Could continue to see this range throughout the day today into tomorrow morning until we get that rate statement coming out of Canada, and that could potentially give us the catalyst necessary to push this back down to the downside. Okay, as we move down to the 1, you got a similar story. Okay, similar story here. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. Here on the 1 hour, you got a nice clean break, but again, we're pushing back into that range. We're moving back to the top of that range that we're slowly moving sideways through. Okay, so adjust that out like so. Okay, so we'll continue to watch this to see, right? Once we get to the top of the range, we want to see price stay below that. Okay, if we break above, we could push to that next daily level, right? But we'll need a catalyst to do that, which again, tomorrow with that rate statement, we shall see. Okay, so this is one we're watching closely with this 80-20 scenario. We're getting that consolidation, which we like to see and which we normally see in these states. So now we just need price to make a decision in one direction or the other. Okay, so keep your eyes peeled closely on that one, as we could potentially see price move for us, move in our favor. Okay, questions on the Aussie CAD? No? All right. Cool deal. Benny, good morning, bro.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. Glad to be here.
That's awesome, man. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. Any any thoughts on that Aussie rate last night or anything else that you saw from a fundamental perspective?
No, it was pretty much to be expected, and we'll see what they do going forward. I know we've got China supposedly. I guess they've lifted some of their COVID restrictions.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, some of them. That's some of the articles I'm reading. It's a little bit of back and forth. So,
Okay.
so we'll see if we get that Aussie rally in a little bit, the New Zealand dollar rally in a little bit. But we'll see. It's almost day by day sometimes, but
Heck
that's
yeah.
the latest that's the latest that I had read. So it kind of has the currencies bouncing back and forth, but
Okay.
it is what it is. Stick to the technical levels that we look for, right?
For sure. For sure. Perfect. All right. Appreciate that insight there. Give me 1 second. All right. Cool deal. Joy said played a risky 5-minute long on that to track the 80-20. On the 5, let's see. You ran your fib off the high, Joy?
I ran it. I'm at 911.00.
Your entry was?
Yeah, it had just broke above the cloud at that point. It was just up underneath the 15 cloud, but it had already broke the 5-minute cloud. So I seen that it was nearby resistance. So I was like, let me go ahead and give it a shot. And I put my stop loss in profit.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So it was off this AB boundary here?
Yep.
Okay. Great work. Great work. All right. Using the fibs on the lower time frame in conjunction with the cloud. All right. Came back, retested the cloud there, and you got your push. Great work.
Yep. Thanks.
Great work. All right. Now price moving to the upside. Tracking that way. Sweet. Sweet. Great work. Great work. That's our fib there, moving to the upside now. Got to the D extension, completed. Looking for a swing high to form. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Let's good morning, everybody that just joined us. Let's move over to this Aussie new didn't see much on the Aussie, switch to the Aussie. I'm gonna take a look at the Aussie New Zealand. Aussie New Zealand. So look, weekly perspective, push down, strong, beautiful move to the downside, right? Came into this weekly support, right? 2 levels here. We broke through this previous one. Now we're sitting here at this one, and we got some indecision happening. Right? So we drop down to our daily. From a daily time frame perspective, this was a beautiful 80-20 scenario. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, beautiful breakdown. So now this weekly support, we're sitting right at this 618 retracement level. Right at the 618 retracement level. Okay. So we want to see, do we get a retracement, right? Even if it's to come back and retest this daily level that we stalled at and broke through. Okay. So that's what we want to look to see if we get, right? Is this retracement here potentially pushing back, right? We'll see what the Aussie has to do. But we want to see if we start to get a retracement with this consolidation that we have. So we come down here to the 4, move this out. We didn't get that. Come down here to the 4. And we're sitting here at this 118, 127 zone. All right, shallow retracement, 118 and 127 zone. We're getting the sideways push. Okay, we're getting the sideways push. So now It's a matter of do we get price to turn back over and start making its way to the upside. We got the strong bullish move here, right? We broke back above this previous weekly level. Okay. Now we're getting a pullback, retracement, and taking back some of that bullish move, right? This was yesterday off of off of that news, right? Now we're getting a retracement to take back some of that move, right? Do we get price to turn over and start making its way higher? Right? So 80-20 scenario here on the 4-hour time frame. We have to keep our eyes on and watch, right? We're running trend lines to the downside, like so. And like so. Okay. And that's an inner trend line, super aggressive. All right. We'll watch when we get down to the 1-hour time frame. We'll see what's happening there. Okay. But that's the 4-hour look on the Aussie New Zealand. Come down to the 1. And you see that push that we started to get, right? That push that we started to get potentially got some head and shoulders action here if we come back and retest this lower level here, right? But we zoom out and drop our fibs on, right? Whoops. I have to reset that one. But AB boundary, shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, and we got the push, and now we're getting a pullback. All right, now we're getting a pullback. So again, we want to see price turn over, right, and push to the upside. So this is that inner trend line that we pulled down on the 4, right? Right there. So if we get price to turn over, break our trend line, break back above this previous weekly level that we're hovering at, right, we could be on to the upside. Okay. So as price pushes down, we'll say where price is to the upside at 618 retracement. We're looking at 140 pips to the upside. That's on the 1-hour time frame. Okay. So we'll watch this to see, right, if we get that move, right? We'll see how the market responds to that data from last night. Okay. Let's watch for price to pull back into this range here. Right, in line with this lower level here, right? We'll see if we get price to pull back into the zone and then see if it turns over. Okay. Aussie New Zealand, any questions here? No. Sweet. And let's take a look at this Aussie dollar. I'll make some quick adjustments here, but we didn't get that push up into that next daily level, okay? But trying to create a new swing high, right? We got this push up here. We need 2 candles to the right to form to create that swing high there. We'll adjust that level up once that occurs. But we pushed into the 618 retracement level off this daily time frame. Okay. So beautiful move to the upside. And this is where we sit. This is where we sit. We could potentially range here, maybe come back and retest that daily level. We'll see. We'll see. Drop down to the 4. Now here on the 4, right, we did get that 382 retracement, but we weren't able to stay above this daily level. Okay. So we pushed down, we broke our trend line, right? Now we're getting a bit of a retracement. So we'll see how far this retracement comes. And then we could potentially look for another move back down to the downside. Okay. I think that Kiki in the Telegram chat, right, posted her charts on this, looking for price to move. And it played out beautifully. Right? So we drop down here to the 1. And we see just the consolidation that we're in, right? Consolidation that we're in, but we're looking for price to continue moving to the downside, right? So that's what we're looking for there. But overall, looking at it more from this perspective and from the daily time frame perspective, looking for this move back down to the downside, ultimately make our way to the daily D extension if we stay below this daily resistance level. Okay. Questions here on the Aussie dollar? Nope, no questions. This is a look on the 5. We got a 618 retracement. We're getting some consolidation there, right? We could be in for potentially another push to the upside, depending on how that news from last night is taken. Okay. All right. Good deal. Let's take a look at the CAD Swiss. From a weekly time frame perspective, strong push down, right? We came right into this weekly support, right? Trying to break through it now. We'll see what happens, right? But we're got that strong push down, right, into that weekly support. So key level of support that we're sitting at, come back to the daily time frame, okay? And on the daily time frame, we're making our way to the matching D extension. 618 retracement, bang, daily resistance, push down, okay? Push down. So now these levels got broken. Take those out. We'll drop in this daily level here. So okay. All right. We push down. We broke that daily level as well. All right. We'll leave that one to see if we get a retracement to retest, but pushing down. So we want to see, do we get a retracement at all before continuing to the downside here to get to the matching D extension. Okay. We got that news coming in tomorrow. All right. So that's a daily look. Come here to the 4. Similar deal, right? So this one is off to the races to the downside. Just looking for any short-term retracements that may occur before continuing to the downside to get to the matching D extension. Okay, so daily and 4-hour are in alignment, price pushing down. Okay, we come down to the 1, we'll run our fibs off the high here. Okay, everything's in alignment. We got a 50% retracement, matching D extension is there. Okay, so this one, no play. Looking for price to get to that D extension first, and then we'll see if we get a turnover after that D extension gets achieved. All right, so all 3 levels there are in alignment. No plays on that CAD Swiss. Okay. To the CAD Yen. See what we got. We got that beautiful move down. So look, another scenario. Another scenario. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. Bang. Breakdown. Breakdown. We're on our way, right? We've seen this quite a bit on the weekly time frame, right? That Euro CAD played out in the opposite direction, but 80-20s on the weekly time frame, beautiful, right? Took its time, but it's making its way. Okay, so we broke this previous weekly support level, right? Now we pulled back a little bit. We'll see if we retest that level, right? But all signs are headed to the downside here. So we'll see how that news fares tomorrow. Come down to the daily time frame. And here on the daily, we're sitting at a 786 retracement. It's been a beautiful move to the downside. Okay, broke these levels. Take them out. That was a support, right? And this is that weekly support that we just broke. We'll see if it acts as resistance here. Okay. A beautiful move there. Come down to the 4, and we see after this break, right, fresh AB boundary, shallow retracement, that 118, 127 zone, right, is right in line with this daily support and weekly support, right? Come back here, right? This next weekly level here, okay? This daily level here at the 8-6 retracement zone. So we want to see here, right? Do we get this push something like that. And then see if we can get a bounce. Okay. We know there's some talks of some potential changes coming out of Japan, right? So we'll see how those impact. Excuse me, sorry. See how those impact the markets overall, but been a move to the downside so far. We'll see if we're able to get this move and a bounce off this support level. Okay, so that's what we're looking at here on the on the CAD yen. Okay, we come down to the 1 hour, and we're in that zone too, right? Make this slight adjustment to the trend line there, right? Push down. We're in this consolidation range. We pushed into that 118, 127 zone, and price is pushing down now, right? So again, see if we get something like that to occur. All right, so be patient here and allow this one to move, right, and make its way to the downside and give us what we're looking for here. Okay, higher time frame and on the 1 hour, giving us that 80-20 scenario. Okay, so be patient here. Yeah, be patient there. Okay. And if you wanted to, you could now run this inner trend line coming off that high like so. Right. Okay. So that's the CAD yen. That's what we're looking for. There's one more push to the downside, and then see if we get a bounce. Okay. Questions on the CAD yen?
No, sir.
Oh, sweet. Sweet. All right. Cool deal. Let's take a look at this Swiss yen. All these yens made some nice moves last week. So here, right, we're going to watch this again closely. Whoops. Again, shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, weekly time frame. Okay. Weekly time frame. So we've been looking to see if we get a break out of this consolidation, right? Boom. We didn't break the support level, but we tried to push out of that consolidation range that we've been in strong bearish fashion, right? So now we're getting this retracement to occur, taking back some of this strong move, right? So now let's see if we get price to turn back over, right? And push down to the downside. Come down to the daily. And this was the move here on the daily. That was our trend line break. Nice strong move down. This is the pullback here. We'll see if just retesting this consolidation zone here, we get price to turn back over and continue making its way to the downside and give us a nice break of this monthly support level here. Okay. That's what we'd like to see. Nice break of this previous monthly support level and that continuation to the downside. But we got our trend line break and we're getting the pullback now. All right. Getting the pullback now. So we had a catalyst for these yen crosses, right? So it always got to be a catalyst to push us in one direction or the other. And we finally got it. Okay. So now we want to see, are we able to break back below this and stay below this monthly support? Okay. That's your 4 hour look. Down on your one. And take that smaller one out. Boom. And these fibs on the one, I ran off the high here. All right. So we got a fresh AB boundary. We're getting a pullback now. Let's see if we can get price to push into our sweet spot here, right? To give us a nice entry off of this. So we can get price to pull back like that and give us an opportunity to get short if we're not already short. Okay. The catalyst, Reese, was there were some talks last week about them potentially changing their monetary policy, right? And removing some of the monetary support. Okay, so that's the Swiss yen, right? See if we get a nice retracement here. See, I think Ben, you talked about that on Thursday, right? Wednesday or Thursday, you talked about that.
I think it was Thursday. I had to go back and take a look at my notes on that.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see if we get a continued retracement here back into our sweet spot. All right. And then give us an opportunity to get short. Okay. So that's on year one. So that's what we're looking for there. Questions on the Swiss yen? Nope. Cool deal. And our Euro Aussie pushing back to the top of that range. Pushing back to the top of the range, right? So we're just moving sideways here at that 50% level. Okay, so daily fib, just sideways right now. Okay, just sideways right now. So we're getting back to the top of the range. We'll see if price turns over and now price is back to the bottom. Okay, in favor of that Aussie. We're here on the 4. This is what that looks like. We got a 382 retracement, right? We're just moving sideways here. Just moving sideways. Okay, so we could see this move back down to the bottom of the range. If you play the ranges, you're looking at 250 pips. This back to that weekly level, back to the daily, looking at 374. So if on the lower time frames this meets your rules, we'll see if we get some action back down to the downside. Okay, so we come here to the 1. That's the overall fib on that. I'm gonna pull that out though, because we're just looking at support resistance here. All right, just looking at this range here. Okay, you can see it clearly. So now run your trend lines to the upside like so, right? And you would have had potentially an aggressive trend line coming high here, and you got your trend line break, right? If that's what you had. Okay, or you can wait, right? Wait for a trend line break here and then get that move down. Okay, if you wanted to run your fib off the bottom of this range, that's what you have. Okay, AB boundary, didn't get to that 382 yet. We're getting a little bit of a pullback now. So does it continue here, turn over and press down, or do we get a deeper push, right? And then price turn over and push down. So we'll watch that to see once the market opens, once the New York session opens today. Okay, see which direction this moves. But overall, looking for this to continue to the downside at some point and get back down to at least the support level. Okay, so that's the range play there. That's the range play there. Either now getting that push down or one more push to the upside and then giving us that move down. Okay. Questions on this Euro Aussie?
No, sir.
Cool beans.
Like, what is the
All right. And Euro CAD. All right, been running to the upside. Monthly time frame off that 80-20. All right, we're pushing into that 618 retracement level. All right, the euro has been pretty strong, and we've had oil pushing down to the downside. Right, oil pushing down to the downside. So we got the euro running right, coming into that 618 retracement on the monthly time frame. Right, on the monthly time frame. So we get down to the weekly, right, and get a similar view. We got a weekly resistance level here, just above that 618 retracement level. Okay, so we'll see how far price continues to push on this. Okay, we come down to the daily, right? Broke through all kinds of levels and we're running, right? We even took out the A off that daily fib, right? Fresh AB boundary, and we got to move up. So now we're waiting for a swing high to form. Okay. So we'll see what happens throughout the day today, right? See if price starts to stall out a little bit, and if we get a retracement to come back to retest these some of these levels here. Okay. But it's been a crazy move to the upside that came off of an 80-20 scenario off the higher time frames. Okay. So we need a new swing high on the daily. Come down to the 4. And we're pushing to the D extension on the 4, right? We're looking to see if we got a trend line break here, right? Off this 80-20 scenario. Momentum's just too strong right now. Okay. So now we'll wait for a reset, the extension to get hit. And then we'll see if we get a swing, some consolidation and a swing high to form there, right? Give us a fresh AB boundary to play with. Okay. So this one, continue to be disciplined with your trend lines. Bang. Okay. Drop to the 1. Take that out. Bring this in. There we go. All right. So we'll probably get to the D extension on the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frame here. Okay. And then we'll see what happens. So this one, we're just going to wait and let it run. Right. Let it run as long as it wants to. Okay. So we'll see what happens once we get up here. Okay.
Oh, let me tell you about a lesson learned.
Talk to me.
Ooh, I got spanked yesterday. So I call myself being slick, right? So I had my limit orders to take a buy in the sweet spot on oil because I was looking at the news. I was like, maybe, it ran, Euro ran its course. I was able to save myself because I had a limit order also in the 80-20 on the ECAD, trying to be slick, play oil up and play ECAD down. Well, I forgot about that oil. And Euro got strong yesterday. And I came back to my charts. I was like, dang, I was trying to be slick. So y'all be careful. Because I was trying to be slick because I had, everything matched up. It matched my rules. And I didn't pay attention to that swing. And I was like, dang, it did swing. So I hurried up and got out of ECAD. But yeah, I forgot about the other limit order that I placed for oil.
No doubt. But too, right? You said it met your rules.
It did. It met my rules.
So we'll take that as a win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it hit the stop loss, but it met your rules, right? So now the adjustments that you realize you could make, right? From a fundamental perspective, what's happening, right? Take that into account, but it met your rules and you pulled the trigger. We'll live with it.
Yeah, and then I also remember the one thing that came to mind is when Benny said, y'all be careful when you play them buckets, because if you play all of them.
Yeah.
And that's what I end up doing. But my risk management is cool. So I just tickled. I was like, I called myself being slick.
It's a beautiful thing, the lessons we learn, right? Beautiful thing, right? But it met your rules, you pulled the trigger, so we'll put that in the win column, right? We'll put that in the win column. Over time, right? It'll continue to play out in your favor, right? So beautiful. Appreciate you sharing that, Joy. Appreciate that. Those lessons are always great, right? So don't be we created this community to be an open one, right? We created this community to be a supportive one, right? We created this community to be able to hold each other not only accountable, but hold each other up, right? And encourage each other. So this is an open community for you to share those lessons that you learn, right? So we ask you guys to do the homework and share your charts, right? Do that. In doing that, you're able to learn more about this process, right? And you're able to start to see things a little bit differently each time you share. Okay? So don't be afraid to share those things. That's why we ask you to share, because that all helps in that process of compressing time frames. Right? So not only is it important to do the homework, but it's also important to share the experience that you're going through. Right? It's about stepping outside of yourself, right? Moving past those fears of loss, fears of what are they going to think, right? Because none of that matters. None of that matters, right? We've all had the thoughts that comes from the insecurities inside from our past experiences, but we're working to move through those things now, right? To change that self-identity that we talked about yesterday, right? Part of that process is stepping outside of your comfort zone, right? In sharing, talking about your experiences. You can hear from other people from a supportive perspective. Those things help you grow, man. Those things help you grow big time. So, Joy, we appreciate you sharing. Greatly appreciate you sharing. All right. All right. So EuroCAD, that's where we sit. I want to take a look at this pound CAD. Boom. The extension hit on the daily time frame. All right. We didn't get price to turnover at any of these levels. All right. Let me go to the weekly real quick. I'm going to run a fib off the high here just to see where we sit. Okay. That's the weekly fib. It's the weekly fib there, right? Broke through this weekly resistance level, right? So we'll see what happens as we continue to push here, right? We'll see what happens with the CAD. So here back on the daily time frame, pushed above our next daily level. We do got a level here that we're at right now.
Okay,
Got a daily level there. All right, so we'll see what happens there. Nope, and then the next level isn't until there. So got a daily level here. I'll bring that down. Okay, so we'll see what happens as we approach this daily level and the strong push to the upside. Okay, see if we get price to turn over. Come down to the 4. All right, this is another one of those scenarios where looking for a retracement, didn't quite get it. Okay, we'll see what happened. The daily resistance level is inside of that D extension, so we'll see if we get price to hold up a little bit here. Okay, so still in that 80-20 range. We'll see what happens as we continue to push to the upside and move through the day today into tomorrow. Whoops. Just watch it and be patient. Watch it and be patient. Okay. Get down to the 1. Similar story. Similar story. Okay. We didn't get that turnover there. Thought we might, but no. Continued pushing. So we'll watch and see. We'll watch and see. Sometimes, right, we see these deep pushes and we just missed that D extension, right? We've seen that happen quite a bit. So this could be one of those scenarios, but we got to stay below that level in order for that to occur, right? So we'll see what the Bank of Canada gives us tomorrow. All right. So watch that one through the day today. Back. That is the pound CAD. Questions here?
No.
Cool deal. Let's hop over to that's the dollar. Here's the dollar CAD. All right, this is on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, let's bounce back to the daily quickly. from a daily perspective, we're pushing, right? We got a 50% retracement in line with the daily support, right? And we're pushing to the upside. Previous resistance, future support, right? Pushing to the upside. Coming into this level of daily resistance, we want to see, do we stay below this or we're able to break above and continue riding to the upside? Okay, so that's going to be key for us to watch coming into tomorrow. Okay, so now as we come down to the 4, right? On the 4, we got fibs running to the downside here. Okay, and we're sitting at a 618 retracement level on the 4. So we got some back and forth, some indecision, right? Your daily is moving to the upside, your 4 hours running to the downside. So that could signal potential consolidation. Okay, so we'll see what happens at this level. If we're able to break through and retest, we could continue to ride. Okay, so we'll see if we get some stalling here and then see what happens with the catalyst tomorrow. Okay, so now as we get down to our 1, get down to the 1, similar look to the 4, similar look to the 4. So we'll see what happens here. Right, trying to turn over, right, throughout the day today, we might start to see it trickle down. We'll see, right? We saw the dollar, the DXY was pulling back a little bit, so we'll see what happens here on this move. So I'm just watching right now, still dollar long, but we could get some movement back down to the downside, which I'd love to see, and then see if we can get an opportunity to get back long. If not this week, sometime next week. So I'm watching this one just to see what happens here. Okay. So your 1 hour, your 4 hour in line, your daily is the opposite direction. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Questions on the dollar CAD? Not much. For me, not much that I'm looking to play here. But if this is your trade, if this is your sweet spot, right, and you're bullish on the Canadian dollar, you got opportunity here, right? You could get a double top scenario. Okay, you could get a double top scenario here. Okay, so if this meets your rules and you're trading those deep retracements off the 618 retracement, right? That's your opportunity. Okay, so don't miss that if that's the trade that you're looking for. Okay. Questions? Benny, you got any that you got your eyes on, bro?
No, not right now. I'm scanning through all of these pairs now on a lower time frame, looking for some day trade setups.
Okay.
But yeah, nothing right now. You covered the Aussies pretty good. Again, some potentials there with some continuations, but hadn't run into anything yet. But that might change here soon. So
it definitely could. It definitely could. All right, but keep your eyes on the Telegram, guys. Right, and come across any of those lower time frame day trade setups. All right, you'll see those popping into the Telegram. Okay.
I did have a question. Did you because I walked away for a minute. Did you do EJ?
I did not. I can take a look at it though.
Because I was looking last night. I want to say that EJ is like at a daily resistance.
Let's see. Got a nice pull back there.
Or it was. Yeah.
Support, and we got this push back up. That level is broken. We'll take that out. Yeah, so this is where we sit now. All right. Strong move to the downside. Right. So daily fib. 382 retracement came to this daily support level. Right. And we got a bounce. Now we're pulling back a little bit. See what we look at on the 4. The 4, we got a nice deep 8-6 retracement. Strong bounce here. Okay. Just took that out. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what the one that you took out is like. If it closed above, would it be a for sure? And And that's what I was confused on, but I left it alone because I didn't know.
Yeah, so you can keep it, right? You can keep it to see if you get price to come back and retest that, right? If it does, it'll create another swing low there anyway, right? And you'll have a support level on your lower time frames, right? You'll do that like that. My bad. So here, right? So if it comes back to that level, it could give you a swing low here, and you'll have that support on the 4, right? So it'll create it for you again. So if visually, if you like it because it was previous support, right? Keep it. The reason I was removing it because it broke this way and then it broke back above it again that way. So it didn't really hold. So that's why I was removing it, but definitely not a problem with you keeping it. And then, like I said, if it's going to be a support, right, you'll get a swing low on these lower time frames anyway. All right. So yeah, you can definitely keep it there for sure. No, Carolyn, again, I don't mark support and resistance past my daily time frame. So I don't have any purple lines on here. These are just directional lines. All right. I don't go below the daily time frame with my support and resistance. But Benny uses purple for his 4 hour when he drops it in there. But yeah, so yeah, definitely see if you get that that support to hold for sure. Okay. That was 8-6 retracement on the fib there. So on your 1.
Hey, Benny, I missed the beginning. What's your overall bias on the UJ? Is it?
On this euro
Yeah.
yen?
Yeah.
Right now I don't have one. I'm not in this one.
Okay, that's what I thought, but because I have been looking at it, I'm like, well.
Yeah. So a couple things to keep in mind, right? You had the yen pick up some steam, right, from last week. And overall, President Lagarde has kind of tiptoeing around the dovish line a little bit. Hold on 1 second. Let's go back to Benny's notes. All right. So on the euro, we have some data come in hotter than expected. Still unclear what the ECB will do at the next meeting. The latest inflation report for the euro showed that annual inflation rate slowed to 10%, right? So inflation is coming down in November, while the CPI stood unchanged at 5%, despite some early evidence that inflation is slowing among developing countries. It remains uncomfortably high for policymakers, and many continue to set hawkish tone. The ECB remains committed to raising its interest rates to tame price growth, while analysts stay divided on whether the central bank will hike borrowing rates by 75 basis points for a third time when it comes to the meeting in December, or opt for a smaller 50 basis point increase, right? So investors are uncertain, right? And we're trying to decide, we're trying to determine if they're going to come in at 75 or come in at 50, right? So there's uncertainty where they're going to come in because of some of the mixed data, right? Some of the mixed data. So on this one, I'm out, right? We've gotten to that 382 on the daily time frame on your 4 hour, right? And you got the back and forth on your fib, right? So you got your fib running to the upside here. 382, you got a deep retracement on the 4 hour, right? So we could ascertain from this, right? We're looking for a potential move back to the upside. We got 8-6 retracement. We didn't take out the A. We got a nice strong bullish movement here, breaking back above previous support, right? So if this level holds, we could look for price to continue pushing to the upside. Okay. Does it make sense? And we get down to 1 hour, we can look at some shorter term opportunities that might give us a little bit more insight, at least in the short term.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Right. So here on the one, right, still you got some back and forth. So you got a 618 retracement, didn't get to your D extension, wasn't able to break out, and we push back to the upside. Okay. So we got some back and forth happening with our fibs and in our time frames. So with this one, if I was to play anything, it'd be off the lower time frames, looking at a 15 and a 5 to see if there's some opportunities there. But overall, if the yen is going to stay strong, I want to see price push a little bit higher. If the yen is going to stay strong, but if the euro is going to take over, we'll see price start breaking this longer term trend line. Right. So that's that downtrend line there. We'll see if it gets broken or if price pushes into it and then turns back over. Okay. So I'm just watching, waiting and seeing here, seeing what happens. Benny, what's you got a bias on this euro yen?
Not at all, with the yen showing some strength right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then again with the ECB, you got a lot of central banks kind of speaking out of both sides of the mouth for the simple fact that they have to say something, right?
Exactly.
on a regular basis. But they're all trying to figure it out. We've had some strength out of the euro lately, and now you're looking at the yen. So if you've got some euro strength and then some yen strength as well, probably not necessarily the best pair, because you don't have any type of divergence when you talk about strength. So it can kind of bounce around a bit. So I'm kind of hands off this one right now. Like I said, I'm working through the euro pairs now. Looking for some setups coming off the weekly ritual. We've had, like I said, we have some movement early on the Aussies. That were some few 80-20s that played out in the lower time frame. So now I'm just navigating through the euros and then through the pounds after that. So I found something.
Yes, sir. All right. So in the lower time frame, you did have an 80-20 scenario here that's playing out, right?
Yes,
On
you
the
did.
euro yen, right? Shallow retracement 118 and 127. And we got this breakdown. Right. So we're moving to the downside. Again, coming back to this previous daily level, right? So to Joy's point, if this level holds, 618 retracement on the 5, then we could see another push to the upside. So that's the way to look at it as well from that lower time frame. Cool deal. Appreciate the question.
That's a beautiful movie there, man. The pattern works. We always say that's all you traded, all you look for. You can sit on one time frame if you wanted to. Mark your top down analysis so you know where your levels are, and sit on one time frame and look for those setups.
Look for them everywhere.
Yeah, and I want to thank you, Benny, for doing that Fibonacci video, because that's what I this was the first chart that popped up, and I was like, well, let me see. And what I did was I measured like each swing high and swing low to see the percentage that was taken out, to identify where I've been messing up as far as staying out or being hesitant. Okay, go ahead, just collect your money and be okay with it. Because when I noticed that when it breaks a certain path, then it's obviously it's not going to be formed. It's flowing right now. It's not going to form a swing right now. Just go ahead and take money, or it's just messing around. So thank you for that video.
You're welcome. Appreciate it. Thank you, Ryan, for setting it up.
Absolutely. Glad it's helpful.
And then Ryan, can you the Eurocat real quick on 5? I just want to show some people some things.
That's a 15, my bad. 5. There we go.
Yes. Run your fib off the low. Right. Okay. So zoom in on that, everybody. Like, you guys see how that like just certain price action and patterns that you just learn to keep your eye on. Like you see how long that pattern consolidated, right around that beat boundary, and then you had a breakout and a retest, right? So sometimes just recognizing that, hey, if this breaks out to the upside, this thing may be running for a minute, right? Understanding how consolidation works in the accumulation phase of the market, you can see how it broke out and then it pulled back to retest that breakout area, and then it just shot straight up, right? You see that there? Mm-hmm. So just some things to point out. Sometimes when you play around on your lower time frames, you can really see those patterns play out, right, at an even faster rate than you would on your higher time frames. But look at that accumulation there, and then how that broke out and pulled back and just accelerated. So there's always certain caveats to your training, right? To your trading. Once you spend the time on the charts, there's just certain things that you see to say, you know what, I need to watch out for this, and then decide how you want to make your play from there. So I just wanted to point that out. That's just a beautiful, an accumulation with a breakout and a retest and a continuation up for now. We'll see if that exhausts, before it gets to the D extension.
For sure.
Yep.
Appreciate that, bro. All right, good people. Anything else, Benny, before we close out?
No, sir. Great session as always, everybody. Continue to do the work. Look forward to seeing more people post their charts. Kudos to those who are doing it. Be willing to be open. Get that criticism. When I was definitely in management and running things at a high level in the corporation, a lot of people would complain about our negative and pessimistic folks, but I always use those people to kind of, whenever I had a plan, I knew they were going to tear it apart, right? Because they were negative and they were pessimistic. But sometimes they're able to spot that one thing, right, that can solidify our plan going forward and help the organization become a huge success. So look at your trading the same way. Don't be afraid to post those charts. Get that good coaching, that good constructive criticism, so you can get better. But that's it. Other than that, I look forward to seeing everybody again, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right, good people. Appreciate you guys showing up this morning. You have an awesome day. We'll see you tonight.